What if I told you the world's richest people didn't win because they were smarter, but because they stayed when quitting finally made sense? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett did something most people don't. They committed to paths where progress was slow, criticism was constant, and outcomes were uncertain for years, not months. Musk built companies in industries where failure is public and expensive. Bezos spent years reinvesting revenue while Amazon showed little profit. Buffett ignored decades of market noise, compounding quietly while others chased faster wins. Today, their companies together influence over $5 trillion in market value and shape how billions of people buy, build, and invest. Watch to learn the mindset behind billionaires who build trillion-dollar businesses. The story begins with Elon Musk, a founder often described as a future trillionaire, but his story began with rejection. Before Tesla, electric cars were dismissed as niche experiments. Before SpaceX, reusable rockets were considered unrealistic by the aerospace industry itself, and failure came early and publicly. Between 2006 and 2008, SpaceX experienced multiple launch failures. At the same time, Tesla was weeks away from bankruptcy during the financial crisis. Musk invested nearly all of his personal wealth to keep both companies alive. This is where most founders stop. Not because the vision is wrong, but because the cost of failure becomes too high. Musk didn't, and that perseverance eventually changed everything. SpaceX went on to cut launch costs by roughly 70 to 80%, reshaping the economics of space. Tesla became the world's most valuable automaker by market capitalization. Today, Musk's wealth is estimated at $680 to $750 billion, positioning him to potentially become the world's first trillionaire. Because he moved faster than the competitors. But speed alone isn't enough. Without patience, it can destroy companies. Which brings us to the next story. Next comes Jeff Bezos, who built one of the most powerful companies in history by doing the opposite of what markets expected. Amazon didn't look like a success story for a long time. Analysts questioned whether Amazon would ever justify its scale. Critics called it inefficient, overbuilt, and reckless. They misunderstood the strategy. Bezos wasn't optimizing for short-term earnings. He was building infrastructure, warehouses, logistics systems, and technology before profits showed up. While competitors focused on quarterly results, Amazon reinvested relentlessly into long-term capacity. That patience eventually compounded. Today, Jeff Bezos' net worth stands at nearly $252 billion, built on an engine that generates over $691 billion in annual Amazon revenue. Amazon serves more than 315 million active customers worldwide and delivers billions of packages every year, not because it chased early profits, but because it locked in scale before competitors understood the cost of waiting. The lesson is brutal and clear. Long-term success is not patience alone. It is disciplined reinvestment at a scale others cannot financially tolerate. And when discipline meets endurance, the outcome is not survival. It is dominance. Which brings us to the final story. The story ends with Warren Buffett, a man who built generational wealth without speed, hype, or disruption. Buffett didn't chase trends. He avoided industries he didn't understand. For more than 50 years, Berkshire Hathaway delivered roughly 20% average annual returns, turning disciplined decision-making into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Today, his net worth stands at around $150 billion. Buffett's advantage wasn't intelligence, it was control. Control over ego, over impulse, control over the need to act just to feel productive. His story proves that doing less correctly for decades beats doing more under pressure. 3 men, three completely different paths. One shared truth. They stayed through the phase where results were invisible, confidence was tested, and quitting felt logical. Musk endured public failure. Bezos endured years of disbelief. Buffett endured decades of waiting. But they did not escape discomfort. They outlasted it. And that's the real lesson for founders and builders everywhere. Markets reward execution over brilliance and endurance over speed. Billionaires are made by consistency, not shortcuts. If this helped you think differently about businesses and investing, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're building a startup and need the right funding and mentorship, connect with Exit Fund. Know more at exitfund.com.